Welcome everybody to your Top Think Tanks review. I'm your host, Bryce Dolan. We're going to take a look at several different topics today. First, on the Islamophobia in the West, media's follow-up of a $400 million US payment, a surge in Cuban immigrants, and is Pokemon Go racist? Now first, let's visit the Brookings Institute, where article states presidential candidates are not the only ones responsible for promoting Islamophobia. The author begins by specifically calling out Donald Trump and stating his outrageous claims of Islamic terror are incorrect. She goes on to explain that the Muslims he wants to ban are also victims of the terror he speaks about. And she makes a great point going on to use examples of Paris and Orlando, where the world mourned with both of these cities. But did you think twice of the hospital bombing that just happened in Pakistan that left at least 70 dead and more than dozens injured? Maybe you did, but I don't see a hashtag or a picture filter for it. So why does this happen? Well, since 9/11, the media has shown us a war-torn Middle East, and for people who have never been there, and the only pictures are of war and radical militant groups, it is pretty easy for a stereotype to develop. But all those terrorist groups, they're Islamist radicals that want death to America. Yes, this is true, but only partly. Yes, they are Islam, but they distort the religion in a way to make it right to murder in their quest for power. They don't want just death to Americans, they want death to everybody. Everybody actually that's not them. They actually dislike Americans and Muslims alike. Unfortunately, it took Trump's disrespect of a fallen soldier's parents, Hazir and Hazala Khan, to finally push America over the edge with his racist rhetoric. This was good and bad. Good in the fact America finally stopped letting a toy troll kick us around. Bad that it took this long to realize what he was saying was absurdly racist, hateful, and just plain stupid. But moving on. Since we're discussing the media and the effect it has on everyone, do you remember the pallets of $400 million that was being delivered to Iran when the US received the 4 prisoners in exchange? I mean at the same time. Not an exchange. It was just a coincidence, remember? Or was it? The American Enterprise Institute posted Peter J. Wollaston's blog writing on how the media will follow up on the controversial or coincidental cash payment to Iran and the same-day exchange for 4 U.S. prisoners from an Iran prison. He refers to this situation being similar to the Iran-Contra scandal in 1986, when President Reagan allegedly traded arms for hostages. From November 1986 to January 1987, Wollaston said he stopped counting the number of stories about the Iran-Contra scandal. In that time frame, in that very short time frame, between only the Washington Post and the New York Times, over 1,000 separate stories were written about the scandal. There is no such coverage for this event. Can this be purely coincidental? Wollaston points out that it was on the front page of the Wall Street Journal for 2 days, and Thursday it was on page 7 of the New York Times. Why is this getting brushed under the rug? Does this prove that the government has more power over the press than we ever knew? It could be because the media is so focused on the election, because deep down, we are all scared of what's to come in the next couple months. Or is it because of what has come? Well, ever since Obama's announcement of the renewed relationship with Cuba in 2014, the amount of Cuban immigrants has spiked dramatically. According to the Pew Research Center, 46,635 Cuban immigrants have made their way to the States by legal means in the current 2016 fiscal year. And the 2015 fiscal year saw a total of 43,159 immigrants, and 2014 was a total of 24,278. Now, most of the Cubans are making their way through Central America up through Mexico to Laredo, Texas. The Miami port has also seen increased traffic as well, more than doubling from 2014 to 2015. Now, after passing a criminal and immigration history inspection, the immigrants would be admitted into the United States. After 1 year, they may appeal for permanent residence, although there still are some that are trying to make it into the country illegally. The United States Coast Guard will turn all immigrants back to Cuba who are trying to make it to the country by sea. I mean, if we're talking open highway, Cuba is only a short hour-and-a-half drive. By sea, the drive might be a little longer. In fact, that family of particular immigrants tried twice to enter the country by car boat, once on a 1951 Chevy pickup, and then a second time on a 1995 Buick sedan boat. It is sad to say that both of these master homemade crafts were sunk by the Coast Guard when the passengers were picked up and brought back to Cuba. But I am happy to say the family eventually made their way to Mexico and successfully, safely, and legally made their way to the country. Now that they are here, I just hope they can help us sort out the problem in the White House. Have you given in to playing the new Pokemon Go app? Well, according to the Urban Institute, the world popular exercise encouraging game could possibly be racist. Pokemon Go uses your camera and GPS to generate pocket monsters known as Pokemon according to your location. There are gyms where you can meet up with team members to train or battle your Pokemon, or meet at Pokestops to collect Pokemon and other items for the game. Now, gyms and Pokestops are located at actual landmarks like bars, parks, restaurants, schools, you name it. Now, the authors of this article used the in-grace data map of the Pokestops located in Washington, D.C. Where the Pokestops increase, that actually happens to be predominantly white neighborhoods. They used actual data from Ingrace, which was created by Niantic, the creator of Pokemon Go, and most of the game was created off of the same geographic database, apparently resulting in a biased market. Their studies have shown that the neighborhoods that are majority white families have an average of 55 Pokestops, and the neighborhoods that are predominantly black families have an average of 19 Pokestops. Now, I understand the map they use shows all the national monuments and stuff like that for Washington, D.C., but they even stripped away all of that, and their statistics still proved to be biased. The authors refer to the game as a digital placemaker, or creating a good public space. An example of a more traditional placemaker is like a market or public park, but both face a similar problem. It only works if the population utilizes it. Well, Pokemon Go has more than proved to get players outside, exploring new places, and making new relationships. Now they just have to find a way to make it more equally inclusive in the entire area. If you want more information on any of these articles, you can find all the links to them in the description below. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit our website. But until next time, I'm Bryce Dolan, and you're watching your Top Think Tanks Review.